Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Court documents paint the picture of a quiet night in Wisconsin that quickly turned grim and has captivated the nation. 13-year-old Jamie Kloss was missing for 88 days after police found her parents shot to death in their home.
Shocking new details about Jake Patterson surfaced in court today. He's accused of killing the two and kidnapping Jamie for 2.5 months.
Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer has been digging through the criminal complaint. She joins us now with details. Melanie?
Andrea, Mike, I've been reading through this criminal complaint all day, and some of the details in here are truly disturbing. Patterson told investigators he was determined to take Jamie Kloss and would kill anyone who saw him. He also carefully planned how the night would unfold, even shaving his head and facial hair to leave as little DNA behind as possible. And the night of Kloss's kidnapping wasn't the first time Patterson tried to kidnap her. The criminal complaint says Patterson tried to take Kloss 2 other times. So why Jamie? Patterson says he saw Jamie getting on a school bus weeks before the kidnapping and didn't know who she was, but knew she was the girl he was going to take. We're also learning more tonight about what happened at Patterson's home. Kloss told investigators after arriving at Patterson's house, he told her to take her clothes off to get rid of any evidence. He then gave the teenager extra pajamas to wear. Kloss says Patterson made her hide under his bed and made sure she couldn't get out by creating a wall of weights stacked against totes and laundry bins. Patterson kept her hidden there for most of the time, describing the space under the bed as about 2.5 feet tall. The 13-year-old told police Patterson sometimes made her stay under the bed for up to 12 hours at a time with no food, water, or bathroom breaks. She says Patterson would threaten her and say he would do bad things to her if she tried to come out. But finally, on January 10th, Kloss was able to break free. She says Patterson told her he would be gone for 5 or 6 hours, and that's when she pushed the weights and crawled out from under the bed. When Patterson returned home, he saw Kloss was gone and followed her footsteps outside. Patterson says he basically assumed he had gotten away with the murders and kidnapping since he wasn't caught within the first 2 weeks. Now, these details barely scratch the surface of everything in this criminal complaint. We have a copy of it on our website, valleynewslive.com. Andrea, Mike?
All right, thanks, Melanie. Patterson was formally charged today with first-degree murder, 1 charge of kidnapping, and 1 charged of armed burglary. Authorities have not yet said whether Jamie was sexually assaulted. The complaint does not charge Patterson with any form of sexual assault. And as for Jamie, she's now with her extended family and recovering.
Enjoy any and all heat that's out there because much colder temps are moving in. Hutch is here with details on tonight's weather planner. Hutch?
Yeah, the cold is yet to come, but tonight we're dealing with some dense fog across the area. Our Skycam right now is showing that there is a low cloud deck moving over the FM area. Visibility here is just over 2 miles, but it is under a mile in portions of southeast North Dakota and the Southern Valley. Give yourself extra time to drive tonight and watch out because some of this fog could freeze on road surfaces or sidewalks, making a nice slippery surface. A fog advisory through the early hours tomorrow morning. Here's a look at the satellite. Fog doesn't always show up real well on satellite, but here we've turned it on the hour-by-hour forecast model. And as we set this into motion, by midnight, the denser fog should be sliding to the east of the Red River Valley, and by morning, it won't be perfectly clear, but temperatures just about where they are right now. Chance of some patchy fog and increasing south winds. You guys, those winds become northerly tomorrow, and that's going to usher in some mighty frigid conditions. I'll have details on that in just a moment.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
1 month, that's the time Fargo's giving backers of an addition to St. Paul's Newman Center to work out an agreement with residents in the neighborhood. The City Commission delayed a vote on the matter tonight, hoping that the 2 sides can reach common ground. The joint venture between the Fargo Catholic Diocese and Rohr's Development has run into strong opposition from nearby homeowners. Their proposal involves an apartment complex and townhomes in the Roosevelt neighborhood of North Fargo.
A Fargo City Commissioner tonight accused Lutheran Social Services of putting citizens' lives in jeopardy by failing to alert the community that some refugees have tuberculosis. The Fargo City Commission was petitioned for an additional $2,300 in funding for TB testing. Commissioner Dave Pepcorn then accused Lutheran Social Services of hiding the tuberculosis risk and made a motion to stop refugee inflow into Fargo.
I'll be making a motion that we stop allowing refugees to be placed in Fargo until we do health screenings. We were told this was happening 3 years ago. Clearly, it's not.
Health officials stressed to the commission there's a difference between active TB and latent TB. They also said a majority of TB cases in 2018 were not from refugees.
The search continues tonight for a car stolen last night at the Hornbachers in North Fargo. Jordan Dupre says he went inside for roughly 3 minutes, and when he came out, the car was gone. We're told he left the car running because of difficulties with the battery. Someone from Hornbachers told him that a man was sitting in the Caribou Coffee area, and Dupre came inside. And while he was inside, the man took his car. Now the family is struggling without a reliable way to go about their day.
Not having a vehicle creates a lot of stress on us trying to get our 9-year-old to school, trying to bring our 7-week-old newborn to daycare, whatever it may be, getting groceries, getting ourselves to work. It just creates a lot of problems for us.
The stolen car is a 4-door silver 2006 BMW 525i with North Dakota license plate 974CJR. Call police if you have any information.
2 people face multiple charges after a high-speed chase with police and getting busted for drugs. Deputies say on Thursday they tried to stop a vehicle outside of Wadena, but it kept going and reached speeds of 100 miles per hour. Eventually, the driver, 25-year-old Aaron Bounds, and passenger 34-year-old Amber Sutherland were arrested. Deputies found 15 grams of meth in the vehicle. Bounds was charged with fleeing in a motor vehicle and possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell. Sutherland was also charged with possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell.
North Dakota's House is considering legislation that would bar drivers from smoking in the car if they have a passenger younger than 9 years old. Fargo Democrat Pamela Anderson's measure would allow police to pull over anyone seen smoking with young children in the car and fine them $25. Anderson says child safety outweighs adults' personal freedoms. She says secondhand smoke in confined spaces, such as a car, is a health threat to children. At least 8 other states have similar laws.
A bill working its way through North Dakota's legislature would require you to have a video encounter with a licensed doctor to receive a diagnosis versus heading into a doctor's office. Senators in favor of the current bill say video will help professionals pick up on a person, not just a voice. Some lawmakers say the bill's language should change because it's restrictive and should be used as a platform to ask patients questions and refer to see a doctor in person instead. Others say the technology should be used much like a chart to view the patient's past records and simply follow up with a phone call.
Ability to visually assess the patient and see how are they doing is an important thing in certain scenarios.
Telemedicine is an avenue to take care of common problems, those that you don't need to go to the emergency room for, but I see them every day in the emergency room anyway.
According to Teledac, in 2018, North Dakota state companies and employees saved $700,000 in healthcare costs using virtual visits.
In the face of rising drug costs, North Dakota lawmakers are fighting back and trying to help families. Last week, 2 major insulin companies raised their prices. Local families say while the percentage of the increase is small, just around 5%, that can add up to thousands to the annual family budget and are already tight due to the disease. Now, State Senator Tim Mathern of Fargo is working with those families to bring about change.
It makes me hopeful. It takes it from this legislator understanding from this family what the problems are to 18 legislators in a study group to understand the bigger issues. And then when you have more legislators understanding this, then there's a greater chance for action.
The measure still has a long way to go, having to clear several legislative hurdles, and if approved in the House, would also have to be approved by the Senate.